I opened my eyes and immediately felt that something was off. Thwacking my alarm clock into silence, I lay there for a few minutes, trying to figure out what it was. It was 2 days since I started taking Ozempic. I felt very mildly nauseous, but it wasn't severe. If it had happened on a normal day, it wouldn't have stopped me from doing anything, so that wasn't it. It took me a while to realise what it was. I always wake up ravenously hungry, but on that morning, I had no appetite at all. It was gone. I got out of bed and on autopilot went through my normal morning routine. I left my flat and went to a local cafe run by a Brazilian woman named Tatiana, where my order is always the same: a large toasted bread roll filled with chicken and mayonnaise. As I sat there reading the newspapers, the food was placed in front of me, and I looked at it. I felt like I was looking at a block of wood. I took a bite. It tasted fine, normal. I took 3 or 4 more bites, and I felt full. I left almost all of it on the plate. As I hurried out, Tatiana called after me, "Are you sick?" I went to my office and wrote for 3 hours. Normally, by noon, I would have a snack, something small and sugary, and then at about 1 p.m, I would go down the street to a local Turkish cafe for lunch. It got to 2 p.m, and I wasn't hungry. Again, my sense of routine kicked in, and again I went to the cafe and asked for my standard order, a large Mediterranean lamb with rice and bread. I managed to eat a third of it. It seemed to me for the first time to be incredibly salty, like I was drinking seawater. I wrote some more, and at 7 p.m. I left my office to go and meet a friend in Camden Market, one of my favourite parts of London. We walked between the stalls, staring at food from every part of the world. Normally, I could stuff my face from 3 different stalls, but that night I had no hunger. I couldn't even manage a few mouthfuls. I went home, feeling exhausted, and went to sleep at the unprecedentedly early time of 9 p.m. As that first week passed, it felt like the shutters had come down on my appetite, and now only tiny peaks of light could get through. I was about 80% less hungry than I normally am. The sense of mild nausea kept stirring and passing. When I got on the bus or in a car, I felt a kind of exaggerated travel sickness. Whenever I ate, I became full startlingly fast. The best way I can describe it is to ask you to imagine that you've just eaten a full Christmas dinner with all the trimmings, and then somebody popped up and offered you a whole new meal to get started on. Some people say Ozempic makes them find food disgusting. To me, it made food, beyond small quantities, feel unfeasible. On the 5th night, a friend came by to watch a movie, and we flicked through Uber Eats. The app suggested all my usual haunts. I realised I couldn't eat any of this food now. Instead, she got a kebab, and I had a bowl of vegetable soup. On the 6th day, I took my godsons out, and they wanted to go into McDonald's. When they got Happy Meals, and I got nothing at all, one of them said suspiciously, "Who are you, and what have you done with Johann Hari?" I wanted to understand what was happening to my body. I figured the best people to educate me were the scientists who made the key discoveries that led to the development of Ozempic and the other weight loss drugs. So I began to track many of them down and interview them, along with many other key scientists working in the field. Almost all of them have received funding from the pharmaceutical companies that now profit from these drugs, and we should bear that in mind as we hear what they say. They taught me that these extraordinary effects were coming from manipulating a tiny hormone named GLP-1 that exists in my gut and my brain and in yours. To understand what it is, I think it helps to understand how it was discovered.